Hello, learners. Today, let us continue with the chapter Lifelines of Indian Economy. Before going into the next topic, let us take a recap of video 1. So, in video 1, we discussed about introduction of the chapter and about railways. So, first, coming to the introduction, I told you already it is a 5-mark question where transport and communication is said to be a prerequisite for the development of economy. What is meant by prerequisite? It is the initial stage of development. Any country can develop with the help of industries. How economy can develop with the help of industries? Because industries are manufacturing valuable products and it is exporting the goods to other countries from which it is earning huge profits. Clear? So how we are exporting the goods to other countries? With the help of transport and communication. So you can export many number of goods with the help of railways, waterways, and through airways, right? So industries are helping in the development of economy, and industries are exporting goods with the help of transport and communication. So finally, without transport and communication, exports and imports cannot function properly. And hence, we concluded that transport and communication is the prerequisite for development. If a country is having well developed transportation, then definitely industries also can function well. And coming to the transportation, there are different modes of transportation. You can travel on land, you can travel on air, or you can travel on water. So how come it is made possible? We are having different types of vehicles. Okay, so first we discussed about land. On land we can use roadways, railways, and pipelines. So first we discussed about railways. Under railways we came to know about its advantages, its disadvantages, and about the distribution pattern. So advantages of railways, you know well, it is used for carrying huge number of goods and people, and it is used for multifarious activities, for business, for sightseeing, for pilgrimage, like that. It is used for multiple purposes. And then we discussed about distribution pattern, which is a 5-mark question. Under that, the railway distribution pattern depends upon many factors like physiographic factors, administrative factors, and economic factors. Railway track cannot be laid anywhere. Okay, it depends upon how the land is. So under that we discussed about northern plains, Himalayan mountains, peninsula plateaus, sandy plains, swampy regions, and forested tracts, right? So it depends upon the type of land whether it is favorable or unfavorable for railway distribution. So that we made it clear that northern plains are favorable for railway construction, whereas Himalayan mountains, peninsula plateaus are not favorable because they are having high slopey regions. Then we need to construct it with the help of low hills, passes, and all. And in sandy region, swampy region, and all, we cannot lay railway lines. Clear? So that thing you want to be very clear. And for more explanation, you just look into the previous video. And finally, we discussed about demerits of railways, where pulling the railway chain unnecessarily, railway theft, and traveling without ticket, damaging the railway properties are some of the disadvantages of the transportation. And today, we are going into the most widely used transportation mode by the people, that is roadways. So coming to the roadways, we are going to discuss about 4 questions. One is, roadways are better than railways. Why? And then what are the classes of roadways? There are different types of roadways, so let us discuss that in detail. It will be very interesting. And then what are the types of roads based on materials used? What and all materials they are using to construct roadways? And finally, we are going to discuss about demerits of roadways. Let us discuss one by one. First, roadways edge over railways. So if you take roadways into consideration, India is having one of the largest road networks in the world. Why means it is covering about 2.3 million kilometers. Just with the roadways, 2.3 million kilometers of the country is getting covered. Okay, so first, roadways is said to be preceding the railways. So what is meant by preceding? Preceding means like it is somewhat beneficial or favorable compared to railways. Okay, so roadways, it is said to be preceding railways. That is, roadways are better than railways. The same statement can be in other form. Roadways still edge over railways. Again, it is still beneficial compared to railways. So this is a 5 mark question. You may get either of the statement. If you get this statement or this statement, answer is same. Advantages of roadways in comparison with railways. So first, if roadways need to be there, you need to construct it, right? So your first point is related with construction cost. So the construction cost of roadways is lesser compared to railways. Why? For both the things, you want to purchase materials, there is no change in it. But imagine construction of railways. You want to clear the entire area, it should be straight, it should be plain, and you need to purchase iron and steel for constructing the tracks, and also you need to lay sleepers in between the railway tracks, and you want to lay stones in between the tracks, and every time you need to check the railway track. If there is even a small crack in it, then it will cause huge loss. That is why we are saying that construction of roadways is somewhat lesser compared to railways. Clear? And next thing, roadways can traverse through dissected and undulating topography easily. Okay, so look into the picture. The land is very irregular. It is like zigzag land. Can you construct railways here? Definitely not, right? Railway, that is, trains cannot move in a zigzag manner. Then what will happen to the train? It will fall down, right? But coming to the roadways, it can be easily constructed through undulating topography. Undulating topography means irregular surfaces, as you can see in the picture. And dissected means it is divided regions. Okay, here and there will be flat, here and there will be zigzag. Okay, so in those kind of land also we can construct roadways traverse through dissected and undulating topography. So traverse means it can easily pass through or it can easily travel through. Okay, so that is traverse. Next thing is roadways can negotiate higher gradients. Negotiate means what? It can easily overcome the obstacle. If there is any problem, it can easily come over it. Okay, so it can negotiate higher gradients. Higher gradients means hilly areas like slopy regions. There also we can construct the roadways easily. If you go to Himalayan mountains or any other hills, railways are found rarely. But definitely roadways are there. Because of that only we are going to the highest hills and mountains, right? So look into the picture. So this land is somewhat slopy, right? And this land is very higher, it is having a high slope, but in these places also we can easily construct roadways. So that is why it is said to be roadways can negotiate higher gradients and other places. So see here, this is dissected, there also roadways is found, and this is a very high slopy area, here also roadways is found, right? So it can negotiate the higher gradients easily. For example, Himalayan mountains is having roadways. And roadways is said to be economical. Economical means it is cheaper in cost. For example, if you want to travel from Kerala to Tamil Nadu, and that is only you want to travel from Kerala to Tamil Nadu, and hundreds and two hundreds of people they need to travel from Kerala to Karnataka. So where they will take train, either train will move from Kerala to Tamil Nadu or from Kerala to Karnataka. Definitely from Kerala to Karnataka, because more number of people need to travel. That is why they are taking railways. For a single person, they cannot make a railway to be traveling from one place to another. It is not at all worthy. Okay, it will cause much loss. That is why roadways is said to be economical than railways. Okay, so roadways you can take very few goods from place to place, and very few number of persons can travel with the help of roadways. It is not causing much loss. We are having different types of vehicles. If one or two persons want to travel, they can take two-wheeler. If four or five persons need to travel, they can take car. And if you want to transport less number of goods also, you can take three-wheelers. And if you want to take more number of goods from nearby places, one after another, you can take roadways with the help of trucks, right? So only it is said to be economical, carrying few goods and people from place to place, especially nearby places. Clear, children? And next thing, last one is roadways is said to be feeder for other modes of transport. Do you know what is meant by feeder? Just look into the picture. Roadways is there, and top of that you can see other modes of transport: railways, airways, waterways, and all. Look at the bottom of the roadways. So iron and steel company is there. One house is there where the person needs to travel to the USA to meet his friend, and then you can see Ford company. Okay, car manufacturing company. So here, iron and steel industry, they wanted to transport iron ore or iron and steel to other place. And this person, he wants to go to other country. And similarly, Ford cars need to be transported, that is exported to other country. So which mode of transportation they will prefer, children? So iron and steel industry, probably they will choose railways. They can use train to carry the huge load. And the person who wants to go to the United States of America, he can choose flight. Okay, that is aeroplane can take him easily and faster to that country. And for cars, it can be transported with the help of ship, right? With the help of waterways, they can transport it. So how these people can reach railway station, airport, and seaports? Definitely with the help of roadways, right? To be more clear, look into this picture. So iron and steel industry, they wanted to transport their goods with the help of railways. So first they need to take their goods to railway station. So can they just go there like magic? Definitely not, right? They need to travel to the railway station. So first they will take a lorry, they will load the lorry with iron and steel, and then they will travel through the road, and finally they will reach the railway station. After reaching to the railway station, they will unload the truck. That means they will take all the goods from the lorry and they will load the train, right? This is called as loading and unloading. Loading means they are filling the vehicle with load. Unloading means they are unfilling the vehicle from the load. Okay, and similarly, the person who wants to go to airport, he will take either a motorbike or car, and he will go to the airport, and then he will go to the USA. And the car manufacturer, he wants to export his goods with the help of waterways. So first he will take a truck and he will load it with cars, and then they will travel through the road, and finally they will reach the seaports, right? So, this is why we are saying roadways are acting as a feeder for other modes of transport. Whatever modes of transport you need to use, so first you need to reach that particular place with the help of roadways only. Okay, so only it is said to be feeder for other modes of transport. Clear, children? And another thing is, with the help of roadways, you can use shortcuts and you can go to doorstep delivery. Okay, for example, you are ordering a lot of things in Flipkart, Amazon, and all, right? So the person is coming to your house by using two wheelers, and they are delivering a doorstep. So that is made possible only with the help of roadways, right? So here it is economical, it can go to doorstep delivery, so that is very beneficial. So when they are going to doorstep delivery, loading and unloading cost is very less. Okay, for example, if your goods from Amazon need to be delivered only with the help of train, what will happen? They cannot come to doorstep. So first they need to load the train with bulky goods, and then for unloading it, they want to take the goods from the train and they want to keep it in a particular place so that you can go and purchase. So here a person needs to be appointed for loading and unloading, so the cost will be very high, right? But in roadways, as they are carrying few number of goods, there is no need for loading and unloading. You can directly get it, right? So loading and unloading cost is also saved here. Are you clear, children? So now let us take a recap. Just remember the points in point wise. Okay, so these are the keywords, and make a note of this particular slide. So first thing is construction cost of roadways is less compared to railways. And next one, the roadways can traverse through dissected and undulating topography. Traverse means it can easily pass through the divided and irregular surfaces. And number three, it can negotiate higher gradients of slopes, or it can easily traverse through mountains like Himalayas. That means it can easily overcome the problems like high slopey areas. And then roadways are said to be economical because few persons or few goods can be transported from one place to another, especially short distances. And then with the help of roadways, you can give door-to-door service. Because of that, loading and unloading cost is getting greatly reduced. And then it is acting as a feeder to other modes of transport. Okay, for that also we just discussed in detail, remember that. So this is about advantages of roadways. Now coming to the classes of roadways, I told you it will be very interesting, right? So based on capacity, what kind of road it is, how many vehicles are traveling there, from which place to which place it is getting connected. Likewise, there are 6 classes of roadways. So when it comes to classes of roadways, I think you will be very familiar with NH road. Okay, your parents used to say it often, right? This is NH road, like that. So what is that NH road? It is national highways. Like that, there are 6 classes of roadways. Shall we look into it? Yes, these are the 6 classes of roadways: superhighways, national highways, state highways, district roads, other roads, and border roads. This is in descending order. Okay, so superhighways is otherwise called as golden quadrilateral, and national highways, state highways, district roads, other roads, and border roads. Okay, these are the classes of roadways. It's like first class, second class only. Okay, so before going into the detailed discussion, just know what is what. Superhighways, it is connecting 4 places which are very busiest kind of places. And national highways, it is connecting the border areas, that is important distant places with the states. State highways, it will connect state with the districts. District roads, it will connect district with villages and towns. Other roads is rural roads, which will connect villages with the nearby places. And border roads are the roads which are present in the border areas of the country. Now let us discuss in detail. First thing is superhighways. It is otherwise called as what? Golden quadrilateral, because it is looking like a quadrilateral. Okay. So I told you 4 mega cities are getting connected, right? So look into the picture. Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, and Mumbai. These are said to be mega cities and they are connected with straight road. And that road is called as what? Super highways. Okay. So why particularly these 4 places are connected? Why not other places? Because these 4 cities are very important for business, that is for the industries, and definitely lot of people and a lot of goods will be transported from one place to another. Okay, from Delhi to Kolkata, Chennai to Delhi, Chennai to Mumbai, like that they will be traveling, and also they will be transporting lot of goods. If there is no straight road, what will happen? You need to travel through different types of cities, only then you can reach the destination. So if you want to reach quickly, there should be a straight road, right? Yes, for that purpose only they laid roads connecting these mega cities. And this is called as what? Golden quadrilateral. If you take map and if you plot Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, and Mumbai, it will be coming in the form of quadrilateral. Clear? And these roads are connected with the help of 6-lane roads. Do you know what is 6-lane, 2-lane, 3-lane, and all? The road by which you are coming to the school, that is said to be a single lane. Okay, one lane means there will be half of the road used for going to one place, and for returning you will be using the next half. Okay, that is said to be a single lane. uh, then double lane means there will be 2 roads divided with a divider. Okay, one side, two pathways can be used. On the other side, for returning also there will be 2 pathways. Okay, so you just Google about the types of lanes, you will be more clear with it. Okay, but that is not important, that is why I'm not showing that in detail. Simply understand 6-lane means there will be 3 pathways for going and 3 pathways for coming. So three roads are divided with the help of a divider. Okay, so Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai, and Delhi. So this is said to be golden quadrilateral. Similarly, one place in the north is connected straightly to one place in the south. and one place in the west is connected with a straight road to one place in the east. That is called as north-south corridors and east-west corridors. Clear? So, Kashmir to Kanyakumari is one road. There is a straight road connecting Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and another one is connecting Gujarat to Assam, that is Porbandar to Silchar. These places are said to be having straight roads, and it is said to be corridors. Okay, north south corridor here is Srinagar to Tamil Nadu. They will say no, Kashmir to Kanyakumari road. So that is north south corridor, and the road connecting Porbandar to Silchar is west east, but actually you need to write it as east west corridors. Clear? Okay, fine. What is the objective of constructing these kind of roads? That is to reduce the traveling time and distance between the mega cities of India. These roads are getting constructed. Okay, children. So, what is the objective of Golden Quadrilateral? To reduce the time and distance between the mega cities in India. And then, which authority is having power to control these places? So there will be toll plazas and all, right, in different places collecting money. So which organ of the government, which department of the government is responsible for this road? Means NHAI, National Highways Authority of India, is responsible for maintenance and for constructing these roads. Are you clear with this? Okay. So only Golden Quadrilateral will be much in detail. Similarly, other things are getting compared here. First, look into the authorities. Superhighways is controlled by NHAI, and National Highways, it is controlled by CPWD, Central Public Works Department. Okay, so central government is related with nation, right? So National Highways is Central Public Works Department, and State Highways is controlled by State Public Works Department, but while writing the abbreviation you want to write only PWD. Clear? And district roads are well developed with the help of Jilla Parishad. And other roads, that is rural roads, they got much development under a scheme called Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. Okay, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. And border roads, it is controlled by Border Roads Organization. Okay, so in 1960, this organization got established and it started to construct roadways in the border areas. So these are the authorities, so they may ask you in 1 mark questions. Superhighways and national highways, you always get confusion, so be very clear on it. Superhighways is National Highways Authority of India, and National Highways is Central Public Works Department. Okay, and State Highways is State Public Works Department. District roads is Zilla Parishad. Other roads got development under a scheme called Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana, and border roads is controlled by Border Roads Organizations. Now let us recall the points of these things. So superhighways, as we discussed, it is connecting mega cities, and also north, south, east, west corridors are coming under it. And here you need to remember objective. It is a very important 1 mark question. And then coming to the national highways, it links extreme parts of the country to the primary road system, that is to the states. Clear? So national highways, it is connecting extreme part, very distant lands with the states. And then state highways, it is linking state capital with the district headquarters. For example, Chennai to Erode, there is a road. Chennai to Salem, there is a road. Okay, so that kind of roads are said to be state highways. Okay, Chennai is the state capital of Tamil Nadu, right? So Chennai is getting connected with important district headquarters, and that is called as state highways. Okay, you just inquire with your parents what are the different types of roads from Chennai to different districts. Okay, so linking state capital with district headquarters. And then district roads, it is connecting district headquarters with other places of district. If you take Erode, under Erode district there are several important places, right? Solar, then Modakurushi, like that. So these places are getting connected with the roads, right? So this is district roads. And now coming to other roads, that is village. It is linking rural areas and villages with towns. Okay, so our school is located in a particular place. Actually, this road is coming under district roads. but there will be small roads connecting the houses with towns, right? Towns in a sense like Kollampalayam, then Solar. These places are said to be towns. So these towns are having roadways connecting with villages and all, no? So that is said to be what? Other roads. And finally, coming to the border roads, it is related with border areas, that is borders of India. These places actually they are having lot of mountains and also lot of resources. So many resources are present in that places which are helping in the development of industries. So you need to take that resources, so that places must be developed, right? For that purpose they constructed roadways there. So that is called as what? Border roads. It is maintaining roads in the bordering areas of India, and those places are of strategic importance. Okay, they are strategically important. They are having lot of resources, right? That is why they are saying it. So after constructing the roads there, what happened? We are having lot of access there. We can go to any places in the border areas, and lot of places in that particular region it got developed because of the roadway transportation. Clear, children? So these are the 6 classes of roadways, and here golden quadrilateral and border roads, it is of 3 mark questions, and all the authorities for construction and for maintenance, it is of 1 mark questions. So be very clear with it. Clear, children? So these are the 6 classes of roadways, these are the authorities, and these are the linkage between the roads. First, superhighways connecting megacities, national highways, that is connecting extreme parts with the important states, and state highways is connecting state capital with the district. District roads connect district with villages and towns, and other roads is about village side, it is connecting villages and rural sites with towns, and border roads are connecting the border regions of the country. And now coming to the types of materials they are using for roadways construction. So if you see the roadways, they can be in any form. It can be in the form of tar, or it can be in the form of concrete roads, or it can be simply sand road. Okay, they won't construct the road. Simply by walking and all, a pathway will be created, right? So that is one kind of roads. By that we are categorizing it into 2 types: metalled roads or weathered roads, and unmetalled roads or unweathered roads. So what is this weathered roads, unweathered roads? Weathered road means if you take much effort and if you construct the roadways, that is weathered roads. It can be cement road or concrete road, or even bitumen of coal, that is tar road, also comes under weathered roads. Unweathered roads means like there won't be any particular construction there. Simply by walking, a pathway will be created. If it is rainy season, what will happen? The water will go and settle in that place, right? You cannot walk through that place. That kind of roads and all is called as unweathered road. Clear, children? So this is a 3 mark question. What are the types of roads based on the type of material? Previously we discussed about types of roadways, that is 6 classes of roadways based on the capacity, and this is based on the materials. Clear? Okay, fine. Coming to the last topic, demerits of roadways. So first, you want to know what is meant by road density. Okay, road density means what? Length of road per 100 square kilometers of area, that is known as density of roads. And roadways is not having same density in all the places. In one place it will be very narrow, in one place it will be wide and all. Okay, so density of the roads vary from 12.14 kilometers, 12.14 kilometers in Jammu and Kashmir to 517.77 kilometers in Kerala. Okay, so this data and all don't want to memorize. This is simply for your understandings. Now let us discuss about the demerits. What are the challenges faced by the roadways? The very first thing is roadways are inadequate. Not all the places in the country got connected with the help of roadways. Still there are places which are not connected with better roads. Okay, so roadways are generally inadequate, and most of the roads are unweathered. Look into the picture, I told you, right? This is unweathered roads. Just by walking, a pathway has been created. Okay, most of the roads are unweathered like this. and traffic is a very much problem here. And if you go to the cities, it will be having congested roadways. Okay, so it will be very small road, but the population and the number of vehicles will be very huge. Okay, so the city roads are congested, and the bridges and the culverts are still old. See, understand the difference between bridge and culverts. Bridge means like entire river will be crossed with the help of a particular road. This is bridge. Culvert means simply a few holes will be created where water will be flowing there. Okay, this is culverts. So I think you have seen lot of old bridges and culverts, right? So that is one of the problem. Still, the bridges and roadway culverts, they are old. So these are the demerits of roadways. Clear, children? So one thing, the roadways are inadequate. National highways are inadequate in particular, and most of the roads are unmetalled, which is not at all maintained by the people, and it will go out of use if it is rainy season. And then in cities, the roadways are congested, and bridges and culverts are still old and narrow. And in recent years, there are development of road network, but still some places are not at all getting connected with the help of roadways. Are you clear with the children? Fine. So today, first thing we discussed about roadways are beneficial compared to railways, where we discussed about 6 points in total: construction cost, where it can pass through, and why it is economical, right? And then we discussed about 6 classes of roadways, where we discussed about superhighways, national highways, state highways, district roads, village roads, and border roads. And you want to know the authorities of those places. Okay, and types of roads based on the materials used. There are two types: weathered and unweathered. Weathered roads are constructed roads, unweathered roads are just created roadways. And finally, we discussed about challenges faced by roadways. So here comes your first question of today, and that question is: name the authority responsible for maintaining state highways. We discussed about authorities, right? For example, Golden Quadrilateral is maintained by NHAI. Similarly, state highways is controlled or maintained by which authority? Just give the right answer. And coming to the next question, national highways, there are different national highways, so they are numbering the national highways. Okay, there are more than hundreds of national highways. So the national highway 1 is connecting which places? Okay, there is a national highway and it is the number 1 national highway. So what two places are getting connected with national highway 1? Just find the answer in your textbook and give the answer. So if you have any doubt, just replay the video, and definitely after watching this video you need to go back to the video number 1 and you need to revise it for the test, and just replay all the videos, take notes. And the notes today, advantages of roadways, I told you what slide you need to write notes. And for classes of roadways, the differentiation table, that thing you need to make notes. And for demerits, you can write only the keywords as notes by yourself. Happy learning.